This is an embarrassment to black people.
Good morning, America and the rest of the world. Xander J. Hobson here, stand-up comedian and entertainer, director and producer of boxing documentaries and internet troll. To those who need internet trolling, this is another episode of The Devil's Advocate, brought to you by the Brilliant Artist Movement. I'm trying to grow the platform, so subscribe, like this video, share it, and by all means, leave a comment in the comments section. I enjoy checking out the feedback from these videos that I make, as well as exchanging opinions and points of views with you all. Also, if you are a detractor, I encourage you to detract. But just know, if you get out of pocket and you try some Will Smith shit in my comment section, oh, wow! I'm going to deal sternly with you. I am the troll's troll, and talking slick and greasy in my comment section will not be tolerated. Now, before we even dive into this video, I have this really cool shirt on, and the shirt says, "Think it's not illegal yet." It seems that freedom of thought and freedom of expression is something that's starting to be outlawed, which is a good segue into this video. Folks, listen, we seen that epic breakdown of Will Smith on TV at the Oscars. It was an embarrassing situation for everybody. But listen, the main reason why that transpired, if you're asking me my opinion, is because Jada Pinkett is too much woman for Will Smith. And from what I know about this situation, she's always been too much woman for Will Smith. Now, understand this. When I say that Jada Pinkett is too much woman for Will Smith, I don't mean that to disparage Will Smith or to put Will Smith down. But the reality is, there are cases when we are out of our league with women that we are interested in, with men that we may be interested in as women, with an endeavor that we might be thinking about undertaking. Now, so that you can understand exactly what I'm saying, when I was a younger guy, I didn't date women who have children because I wanted the woman and not the children. So with that said, a woman with children was too much woman for me because I know I didn't want to be a father to someone else's kids. So in that case, the woman was too much woman for me. The same can be said if you run into a chick who's a high maintenance chick. She's used to guys spending all types of money on her. Hey, listen, if you're not prepared to drop a mitt and finance that chick the way she wants to be financed, hey man, she's too much woman for you. So again, it's all about recognizing your lane and staying in it and doing the best that you could do to be the best version of yourself that you can be. Now, it is also my understanding that Jada Pinkett and Tupac was in some type of relationship. Well, this confuses me because a number of years back, I read Makes Me Wanna Holler, an autobiography about the late Tupac Shakur that was written by Michael Eric Dyson. In that book, Jada Pinkett gave the reader the impression that there was nothing going on between her and Tupac. In fact, if I remember it correctly, I got the impression that Tupac had a thing for Jada, but Jada really didn't have a thing for Tupac. Now, all of this right here is speculation because this is Jada Pinkett telling the story and not Tupac. Obviously, Tupac wasn't able to tell the story. But nevertheless, if it was in fact the relationship between Tupac and Jada, again, I'm Will Smith. I'm saying, Jada, dig this. I'm not going to be competing with a dead guy. Will Smith's daughter having written a letter saying, Tupac, come back and make our life happy. First of all, if I'm Will Smith, I'm saying, why the fuck am I competing with a guy who's been dead for over 20 years? What the hell is that all about? Number two, what the hell have you been saying to my daughter that she's wishing for a dead guy to come back and save them? What kind of bullshit is this, Jada, that you exposing our children to? And finally, let me tell you something, Jada. I'm Will Smith, and I'm more in one finger than Tupac ever was in his whole fucking life. No disrespect to Tupac, but I'm fucking Will Smith. As a matter of fact, I'm Big Will, and I won't have you disrespecting me with some motherfucker who's been dead for years. You gotta love yourself, and you gotta think a lot of yourself in order to carry yourself with a certain demeanor and a certain swag.
I think that every man who is of a certain age, over 45, every man who allows an evil, cankerous whore to be in their presence at age 45 and older, if you allow an evil, wicked bitch who fuck her son's friend to accompany you on your shoulder in public, you ain't gonna get nothing but drama.
But again, if you're not able to do that, the woman that you're with is too much woman for you. Again, Will Smith, a notable world-renowned actor, but again, obviously his self-esteem was in the toilet because from what I gathered, Will Smith entered into a relationship with Jada Pinkett, and I think one of the conditions of the relationship, coming from the perspective of Jada Pinkett, was, hey, listen, we got to have an open relationship. Now, I don't know if Jada did this to discourage Will from getting into a relationship with him, because oftentimes women try your chin if they don't really want to mess with you like that. She might have just threw the open relationship out there, hoping that it would be something that would chase Will off. But when Will decided that he was going to sign off on it, even though he might not want to do it, hey, Jada said, fuck it. It's going to be what it's going to be. But again, you meet a woman and you like her and she tell you some shit like, yo, I want to be in an open relationship. I want to swing. And that's not something that you really want to do. Hey, you got to look at that situation and say, hey, listen, this woman here is too much woman for me. Now, of course, if you want, you might want to hit the pussy a few times just to keep it 100. But at the end of the day, you got to recognize up front what's not going to work for you. Because let me tell you something, people. If you don't like something in the very beginning of the relationship, you're definitely not going to like it 2 or 3 years in. So, with that said, you got to know when a person is too much woman or too much man for you. But in the case of this, we're talking about a woman being too much woman for a man. But that's neither here nor there. The purpose of this video, again, is to, one, encourage people to think why it's still legal, but also to recognize when a person is too much for you. You got to know your lane. It's real simple. If you stay in your lane, you'll be all right. Another thing I wanted to point out, it appears that Jada Pinkett took every opportunity available to her to undermine Will Smith.
I'm embarrassed for you. This bitch went on Oprah and said you fuck her like a girl.
Oh, I didn't even know you did that.
You don't know all the shit.
I know you
That bitch said I don't love him.
Again, relationship, there is no big I's or little U's, or no big me's and little U's. It's just not the case. You with a person, it's teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. And if you are in a relationship with someone who's undermining you every step of the way, you got to get out of that. You got to love yourself. And this whole thing that you seen that transpired the other night.
Oh, wow! Wow! Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
It was a horrible thing that Will did to Chris Rock. But at the end of the day, that really wasn't even about Chris Rock. It was just about Will Smith succumbing to all the pressures of being with a woman who was really too much for him. In all actuality, folks, in my opinion, Will Smith was too much man for Jada Pinkett, and she didn't have, or she doesn't have, enough sense to recognize that Will is a good guy. But again, because she has Will bewitched, she has Will turned out like a research monkey. So as I get ready to wrap this video up, I just want to say first and foremost, right? Jada Pinkett is too much woman for Will Smith, but in all actuality, Will Smith is too much man for Jada Pinkett. A lot of people are upset with Will Smith for what he did.
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation.
They asked Chris, do you want to file charges? And Chris apparently said no, he did not.
He doesn't want the hassle. I'd announced this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million because that video is going to be there forever.
Dishonor her.
For that, he didn't do that. That joke was not worthy of the reaction.
I don't condone violence. I just don't see any reason for it. I do know that if you're going to have any comedian and the rest of the show, everyone was being ridiculed in some way.
Right.
The only difference was, I think if you're a celebrity and you're in there, you know that's going to happen.
You cannot sit up front at the Oscars with a bald head, bitch, and expect nobody not to say something. It is impossible.
I'm upset with Will Smith for what he did. In fact, I'm very upset with Will Smith. The primary reason why I'm upset with him because what he did, that was the stuff of bullies. And the only reason why Will Smith did what he did to Chris Rock was because he was quite certain that Chris Rock wasn't the type of guy who would retaliate against him in a way that would result in violence or him getting hurt himself.
Well, I'd announced this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million because that video is going to be there forever.
You don't put your hands on nobody because somebody say something. Period. Because I tell you what, if you'd have came up there and slapped me, he would have been limping back.
Captain, what if that would have been you?
Oh, he wouldn't do it like that. Well, he know better than me. He know better than me. He wouldn't do it.
We have our picks. We know who to fuck with and we know who not to fuck with. So this is what I was thinking about. I felt the need to share it with you all. And I'm doing this first and foremost as a means of clout chasing to build my channel. But also there is a good message in what transpired. It was a teachable moment. So with that said, folks, I'm done with it.
Will Smith suffers from being around an awful bitch.
Bam!
A little boy climbed an apple tree. He stole an apple, then two, then three. And when he started to climb back down, he slipped and he landed on the ground. Up jumped the devil. Up jumped the devil. And every time he turned around, up jumped the devil and the white knight down.